Praise be to you, Yahuwah my Elohim. Praise be to your Son, Yahusha my Messiah. I come at your feet in the name of your Son. Thank you for the knowledge you pour unto me, and thank you for breaking all the shackle that was bound on my face. Yahuwah, you are the only true living God. Indeed. Thank you for your Yahusha, whom you truly love. You are Elohim, the Elohim of the Yahudah.
Shalom, family. This is the Remnant Awakens, and I'm your brother, Pierre Lidji. If you've been walking with us for a while, you know we don't shy away from the tough stuff. We dig deep, we question, we unlearn, and we let the word speak for itself. So, today, we're about to step into a topic that's honestly been twisted and stretched so much by religion that most folks don't even know what to believe anymore. We're talking about the Rich Man and Lazarus and all the afterlife confusion that's come with it. So, buckle up, grab your sefer if you got one, and let's get into it. Alright, so let's start with the basics. Luke chapter 16, verse 19 to 31. You know, the story of the rich man and Lazarus. Now, I gotta say this up front. This is a parable. It's not a literal historical event. Yahusha, our Messiah, he spoke in parables all the time. He used stories, metaphors, things people could relate to teach spiritual truths. But for some reason, Christianity took this one and ran with it like it was a documentary. I mean, think about it. If you read the context, Yahusha is talking to the Pharisees who loved money, and he's exposing their hearts. He's not giving us a travel guide to the afterlife. He's making a point about justice, about the reversal of fortunes, about the dangers of ignoring the poor. But, you know, religion loves to make things spooky and mysterious. So they turned this parable into a whole doctrine about burning in hell forever. That's not what's going on here, family. Now, let's get real about what actually happens when someone dies. Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 5 says, "For the living know that they shall die, but the dead know not anything." That's pretty clear, right? The dead aren't up there watching us. They're not down there suffering. They're not floating around as ghosts. They know nothing. They're asleep. That's what the scriptures teach over and over. I mean, we talked about this before, how so much of what we believe about death comes from tradition, not the word. The dead are in a state of unconsciousness, waiting for the resurrection. That's it. No one's burning, no one's partying, no one's looking down on you. They're asleep, just like Yahusha said about Lazarus in John chapter 11. Our friend Lazarus sleeps, not he's in heaven, not he's in hell. He's sleeping. Now, let's talk about this whole Abraham's bosom thing. A lot of folks get tripped up here. If you dig into the book of Enoch, and I know some people get nervous when you mention Enoch, but it's in the Sefer and it was quoted by the apostles, you'll see that Sheol, the place of the dead, had 4 compartments. There's a place for the righteous, a place for the wicked, a place for those who died violently, and a place for the undecided, I guess you could say. But none of these are places of eternal torment or reward. They're holding places waiting for judgment. Abraham's bosom is just a way of saying the place where the righteous dead are kept safe. It's not heaven. It's not some VIP lounge in the sky. It's a metaphor, a picture, not a GPS location. And honestly, if you read the parable carefully, you'll see Yahusha is using the Pharisees' own traditions against them, not teaching a new doctrine about the afterlife. Here's where the big Christian lie comes in. They say, when Yahusha died, he went down to hell and preached to the spirits, or he took the righteous up to heaven. But family, that's not in the scriptures. That's not what happened. Yahusha himself said, no one has ascended to heaven except the one who came down from heaven. That's John chapter 3, verse 13. When he died, he rested in the grave, just like everyone else. He didn't go on a preaching tour in hell. He didn't snatch people out of Sheol and take them to paradise. That's all later invention. The truth is, he died, he rested, and on the third day, at the end of the Shabbat, he rose. That's the power of the resurrection, not some secret mission in the underworld. I mean, if you look at the scriptures, it's always about resurrection, not about souls floating off somewhere. So, where did all this confusion come from? Well, it didn't come from the apostles, that's for sure. This whole idea of souls burning forever, or going straight to heaven or hell when you die, that came from Roman Christianity, centuries after the original followers of Yahusha. They mixed in Greek philosophy, pagan ideas about the soul, and honestly, a lot of fear tactics to control people. It's the same pattern we've seen with other doctrines, like the Sunday church system we talked about in a previous episode. The early believers didn't teach this stuff. They believed in the resurrection, in the coming kingdom, in the restoration of all things. But Rome wanted power, so they twisted the message. And now most people just accept it without question. But family, we gotta go back to the source. We gotta test everything by the word. So, what's the real hope? It's not floating off to heaven when you die. It's not burning in hell forever. The real hope is the resurrection. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16 to 17 says, the dead in Messiah shall rise first. Then we who are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them. That's the promise. That's what Yahusha came to secure for us. The resurrection is the victory over death. That's why Shaul, Paul, says, if Messiah is not raised, our faith is in vain. It's all about being raised up, transformed, given new bodies, and entering the kingdom. That's the hope the apostles preached. That's the hope the remnant holds on to. Not fear, not superstition, not man-made doctrines. Resurrection, restoration, life with Yahuwah forever. Family, do not build doctrine on one misunderstood parable. The dead sleep, the righteous will rise, the wicked will be judged. And no one is in heaven or hell right now. And Yahusha, he didn't go to hell. He rested in the grave, fulfilling the sign of Jonah, and then rose in victory. This is the true hope. Not an escape to heaven, not an eternity in fire, but a resurrected life on a new earth, with Yahusha reigning, Torah written on our hearts, and no more death, pain, evil, tears, hunger, poverty, and lies. I'm Pierre Lidji, your brother from the tribe of Yahudah, and this is the Remnant Awakens. If this episode opened your eyes, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, subscribe if you're awakening to truth. Comment below what stood out to you, and share this with someone who needs to be free from deception. Until next time, Shalom. See you all on the next episode.
Praise be to you, Yahuwah my Elohim. Praise be to your Son, Yahusha my Messiah. I come at your feet in the name of your Son. Thank you for the knowledge you pour onto me, and thank you for breaking all the shackle that was bound on my face. Yahuwah, you are the only true living God. Indeed. Thank you for your Yahusha, whom you truly love. You are Elohim, the Elohim of the Yahudah.